Ninth edition 40k is on the way, and people keep asking my opinions, so here are my opinions. Yay, and oh, I feel a bit like an abused child at this point because 8th edition was so ADHD, it kept coming and coming and coming. We had the launch, we had chapter approved, we had box sets, we had Necromunda, we had Kill Team, we had Forgebane, we had Vigilus, we had Psychic Awakening, which is still going on. And and there was points changes and big facts and incorrect codexes, and it kept coming, and new factions and sisters and Death Guard and Custodes were all new, and Chaos Knights, and it kept coming, and loads of people came back into the hobby. Met so many people who started in 8th edition, and Games Workshop shares went through the roof, and it was all very exciting, and people got really exciting, and it kept coming and coming and coming, and now ninth is coming in the middle of a global pandemic when no one can fight each other, and after just launching some price increases which are now buried in the dust, because the price increases from a couple of days ago, no one's talking about them now. People are talking about ninth. So that's the boo side of things. That's the hang on, slow down, maybe, please. I don't know. I assume they're not going to slow down for ninth either, that it's going to keep coming and coming and coming, because this is the pace of Games Workshop now. New Games Workshop, which are reaching out to us all, and they have their online stuff, they have their community things, and they're sending stuff to people like me and community people out in the community. Did I say community enough? Community. Say community one more time. They are doing things with the community for the first time in a very long time. This is the pace. This is the new Games Workshop. And now ninth is coming. And let's talk about the yay things. Ninth is coming. Yay, because the rules were a bit ABC. They were so trimmed down and streamlined that they needed a bit more depth, didn't they? And there's a couple of obvious problems with the 8th edition rule set. The fact that terrain was virtually, it didn't matter. Terrain didn't really matter very much. You got +1 if you were in some cover. And the ITC made some changes to terrain to help them make it more compatible, more usable in tournament settings. Well, it looks like they're going to be addressing the terrain thing. Or Grot touching a tank and then the tank couldn't shoot. Well, it looks like they're going to be addressing those things. So when they revealed the 9th edition rule set and some of the main rules that are going to change, everyone I've spoken to went, yay, those are the things that probably need to change. So they're addressing some of those bits, the CP bit, they're addressing those bits. It looks like the 9th edition rule set is an improvement on some of the problems, on some of the issues that we encountered with 8th edition. So new, better rules, we'll see when they come out, but a more all-round rule set that isn't as trimmed down, it isn't as anemic as the 8th edition rule set, which maybe has a little bit more complexity and is a little bit or more forgiving than the original rules were. So that's happening. So everyone likes that sort of thing. New models, yay, new models are always good. New Primaris coming out. Finally, after 3 years, a Primaris Intercessor has picked up a chainsword. We've got Close Assault Primaris Marines coming out with the swords and the shields. They look pretty awesome. We've got bikes, so we can see pictures of bikes, leaks, Space Marine bikes all over the place. Not hover bikes, but normal bikes. They look cool too. We like new cool things. And then we have the Necrons, Necron Warriors, changing some new Necron models in there. Some focus on a Xenos race rather than just chaos all the time. And let's face it, Necrons are a significant threat, particularly when we factor in the return of the Silent King. For those that don't know, the Silent King is the big bad of the entire Necron tier that became the Necrons. He defeated gods, something that the Big E would love to do. There's 4 particular gods that the Big E would really like to defeat. But the Silent King actually, after the Necron lore was retconned, defeated the Catan. He defeated the Catan, Saitan, however you say it. He defeated the Star Gods. He is a god killer, and he's coming back from outer space. He's just walked in to find us here with this sad look upon our face. We should have changed. The Imperium should have changed those stupid locks. They should have made him leave his key. If they'd have known for just 1 second, he'd be back to bother Big E. But now he's back from outer space, from the gap between the galaxies. And he's in charge of the Necrons. And so he's a god killer. He's uber powerful, and his stats, I'm sure, will be uber powerful too. And we've got new Necron models as well. So we've got new models. Yay, we like new models. We've got new rules. An improvement, we'll say it's going to be an improvement. The people who are really interested in these sorts of things on the websites and YouTube things that I've been watching are like, oh, breaking it down in much more analytical and intelligent detail than I ever could. But yeah, those seem to be good too. And the third thing that happened, there's many things. The lore will move forward with the return of the Silent King as well. We like that. It's always been grim in the dark, 40,000 years into the future. It's always been the end of empires, the end of the galaxy. And with the launch of 8th edition, somehow Games Workshop made it even worse. They split the galaxy in two. And one side has been plunged into Imperium Nihilus. The other side is barely hanging on there with Guilliman running around all over the place and the new second generation Marines running around all over the place. It got very, very grim dark. And with the return of the Silent King, it's getting grimmer and darker. We've got a god killer now striding the galaxy. It'll be interesting to see what the Silent King considers to be the biggest threat, whether he will turn his attention away from because currently the big bad in the Necron Codex considers Tyranids to be the biggest threat to the galaxy, because if they wipe out all organic life across the entire galaxy, then the Necrons could not return to physical form, fleshy form, because the Tyranids would have eaten it all. So currently the lightning guy, forget his name off the top of my head, you know the one, comments below. Currently he considers the Tyranids to be the biggest threat, but maybe the Silent King would consider Chaos to be the biggest threat, particularly after his fighting the green-skinned Krork and the Eldari back in the day. I don't know. Anyway, the narrative is going to shift. The narrative is going to move forward a little bit as well. Will a Primarch return? Will the Lion come back? We shall see. Maybe they're holding that, keeping that in their pocket for 10th edition. So the narrative is going to change. The rules seem to be better. We've got new models coming, yay. And finally, in 2020, there will be a Warhammer 40k app. OMG, they got there in the end. Don't know where Battlescribe is going to go, but hopefully the new GW app will be better or updated immediately as Spy the Source by Games Workshop. They've had an app for Age of Sigmar for some time now. So it was only a matter of time until it came round for 40k, and they did say that they'd be releasing one for 40k at some point. So they're finally getting there. And you'll be able to type in loads of things into your phone, and then it'll tell you what's what. And so, yeah, so you can buy your paper codexes, you could buy your app codexes, maybe buy both, maybe one feeds the other feeds the other. I don't know, but they're going electronic, which is good, which will allow them to correct any rules errors that they have quicker, which will keep the competitive market happier, because some competitive players, yes, they were doing big facts, and yes, they were doing chapter approves, and yes, they were correcting stuff as they went, but sometimes stuff didn't get corrected for a long period of time, and that kept that did cause a stir and a lot of kerfuffle in amongst the competitive scene from time to time. There were some obvious imbalances that needed correcting sooner, which didn't get corrected for maybe 6 months or 9 months. So the app is coming as well. So apps, models, narrative, rules. There's some changes coming, and let's face it, Games Workshop do change their editions every 3 to 4 years on average. It was a couple of years between 6th and 7th, and a couple of years between 7th and 8th. We expected this. We expected a edition change, and now it's coming. They haven't actually said when it's gonna come. I'm assuming they're going to wait for a couple of months and build the hype and build the hype and build the hype and wait for a couple of months until people can actually play with each other around most of the world. But this global pandemic might, is that a couple of months away? Is that 6 months away? Is that 12 months away? Are we waiting for a vaccine? When will Papa Nurgle stop touching the whole planet? Or when will we become resilient enough to resist the touch of Papa Nurgle? Don't know. I have, yeah. So, ninth edition is coming. My thoughts are yay and oh, and oh. It's confusing time for me. I, of course, will be covering the new game when it comes out and making battle reports and making new campaigns as soon as I can play with someone. I'm looking forward to the new models that are coming out for the Space Marines. Some of them look the new Primaris models, just like most of the new Primaris range. Perhaps some of the derpy bouncy dudes. Most of the new Primaris range look absolutely epic, and the close combat Space Marines look absolutely epic. In fact, even the Necrons look so cool. I'm very, very tempted to go buy a Necron army. When the 8th dropped, I suddenly stepped into chaos and bought the Death Guard, and now I have the end of all things. Maybe when 9th drops, I shall get the Necrons and slowly build up a Necron force, and a dynasty will rise on Winter's SEO and Deployment Zone. .tv. And so it's going to be interesting. It's the future, and keep watching the skies, keep watching the internet to find out when things are happening, and for more details and stuff like that. I'm excited, and I'm also that's my thoughts. I'm excited, and I'm also there's lots of things have happened over the couple of years, and lots more things are still happening, and I guess I just need to get used to the pace of change that 8th edition, 9th edition, and the new Games Workshop are bringing our way. So that's it. Those are my scrambled thoughts from me, from Winter's SEO. Thanks for listening. Happy wargaming.